Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to what is going to be a really great game here in the Tier IX British Battlecruiser, the Duncan. So, let's get cracking on talking about the ship. Now, let me just go ahead and give you my overall thoughts on the ship. Overall, I think the Duncan is a pretty good Tier IX British battleship. I just picked up the St. Vincent last night, so I haven't played St. Vincent yet, as I was getting some really good games all in a row and playing the Duncan, so I just kept sticking with it as I'm divisioned up with Doom Beagle and Forgotten Void. But this battleship, it does really well when you're top tier versus tier 7s. I had a match, I think it was before this one, I clapped several cruisers and it was phenomenal. It does really well if the matchmaking is all tier 9s. And you even do alright against tier 10s and tier 11 super ships. And that mainly comes down to the playstyle of Duncan, which she can with her concealment, as I have concealment build, which is 12.1. You can set up in different positions that otherwise, you couldn't in other battleships, like for example, Zumo, very high detectability radius. But you can sneak in, get close, and have that element of surprise. One of the things I really like about the Duncan is the ability to get so close that your concealment is better than some tier 9 cruisers, and you out-detect them, and you can slap them with a nice AP salvo, or even HE salvo if it's a really light cruiser, and you can still get citadels that way. Because these are 9 419mm main battery guns, so it means you can pin 27mm barrels like sterns on cruisers, but you won't be able to pin 30mm. So this ship is a definite threat if you're not paying too close attention. So I like the element of being able to draw in close with your concealment and do nasty things, and having, I have a 49% chance of starting fires in this video battle, and so I let my team know that he DCP'd, so now the goal is to try to set him on fire. And then she also has this other play style where you can kite away. You can disengage. Her kiting or rear firing angles are much better than her forward firing turret angles, because I have to kind of show an uncomfortable amount of side just to get all 3 guns off, and you can see I only have 2 guns on target with the Iowa now. But when you kite, and you'll see that later in this video, you can get really good firing angles, and I had to kind of accelerate back forward here, unless I just keep reversing in order to get a 3rd turret off against the Iowa again, because I really like to get fire set. But we're going to have to see what happens here. So overall, Duncan just performs really great. A good battleship. So let's talk a little bit more about the ship itself. So as I said, you have 419mm main battery guns. The build, once I have fired my guns here, in slot 6 I've gone for the main battery reload main battery modification, so I have a 27-second reload time. You start out with the high explosive having a 47% chance of starting fires, and with combat signals we've increased that to 49%. Your HE shell maximum damage is 6,150, your maximum AP shell damage is 13,050. Hull-wise, you want to upgrade the hull first. Hull A is 66,900 hit points. Hull B is 75,200 hit points. It doesn't change too much with the ship. The kilo more AA. Excuse me. A bit better AA concealment, or AA rating. And then you have 622mm torpedoes. You get 2 in total, 1 on each side that you can fire bow on, or almost to a 90-degree left angle. So these torpedoes are very powerful. The maximum damage of these torpedoes is 29,366. So I like to refer to these torpedoes as little nuclear warheads. They have a speed of 67 knots, a range of 10 kilometers. So they do really nice, and that allows you to have a bit of a trump card compared to other Tier 9 battleships that, you know, they don't have torpedoes, right? So when you push in, you don't even have to show side to fire these torpedoes. You just fire your nuclear warhead into the enemy ship that's in front of you, and it really helps prevent ships even being able to get a ram off against you as well. Now they do have a 0.6 kilometer arming time, so if you fire any closer on an enemy ship, or the ship gets within 0.6 kilometers of you, then the torpedo will arm. So that's something you have to be mindful of, and you'll probably see us do that, look at that a little bit more closely later on. Now, in terms of the gunfire control system, you do have a range increase. This WoW's wiki article I'm looking at actually does not show me what the range is. But you do have a 32 not maximum speed. That doesn't include your engine boost, and it doesn't include ceramic flag. So you can actually get going pretty fast with this Tier 9 battle cruiser. So we are going to make use of the defensive AA. It's one of the consumables that we have. You're going to even see us using it against the Nebraska later on. But you know, there's no quote-unquote carriers. We have the hybrid Nebraska, as we switch to AP for the Iowa, who keeps staying broadside to us. But we also have the Johann de Witt, who's also firing or dropping HE airstrikes on us, or trying to, and on our division mates. So let's talk about a little more about the high explosive, the armor piercing. You do not sleep on the armor piercing. 49% chance of starting fires is great, but the armor piercing can do really nasty things. Here we're going to do a 6K salvo. The game before this I had broadside salvo. I think he was Iowa. He was like 14 kilometers away, and we did 25K damage, 25,000 damage. Now there's a submarine that's down here who's also being a pain in the butt, so it's gonna take a while to kill him, you know. And we're all kind of conglomerated here in C, so I'm kind of frustrated that our team is not able to get rid of the submarine, who's going to prove to be a bit of a nuisance, because I'm trying to retain what health pool I can, as we've already hit 1.3 million potential damage, and it's only going to keep going up in this game. So use the armor piercing when possible, as I'm gonna make these cruisers sitting here take the torpedoes, so I was kind of laughing about that. Use the armor piercing. It's really good. So here's another salvo off on the Iowa. Let's see what the armor piercing does this time. I see slowed down to get shots off before going behind the island. Yeah, he's dead. So you can really do some devastating damage with the armor piercing, since these are 419 millimeters. You know, Montana is 406 millimeter guns, where these are 419. So a little bit different feel going on with these larger caliber guns, as the Otago and Alaska really liking to be together. Let's see here. You do get the depth charge airstrikes. We get 2 of them total. So we've been trying to utilize them here, as I've used the DCP now, and I'm going to accelerate forward so I avoid these torpedoes. I'm not really concerned about necessarily getting set on fire. I still have 2 heals. The commander is 18-point commander, but I've only been able to use 16 points of her skills. The other 4-point skill that I do not have, I've taken fire prevention, I've taken concealment expert, but I don't have the one for the heal. It gives you additional heal, and if you have limited damage control parties, it gives you additional damage control party. So I don't have that 4th heal and starting off this game, so we're already down to 2, as this Cleveland's just booking right along. So we don't have that. So that's a little bit a definite not in my favor for this game, the fact that I don't have that 4th heal. So you're going to see how that ends up affecting us later on, but I don't want to give too much away. So we're holding our shot here, see if this Cleveland's going to take a lot of damage. He only takes 1 torpedo, then I'm like, okay, I'll shoot the Nebraska then. We'll go ahead and dump a torpedo. Avoid any zoom and picks up the Vladivostok. So now we'll see if we can't finish off the Cleveland, but I didn't lead him enough. So unfortunately, he's going to still get away. It's kind of rocking back and forth. In this position, it's really tricky as I'm really paying, like, oh, this Richelieu has my side, and with that French AP, then I need to reverse more back. If I push any farther forward, it's not going to be good for me. So now here's Cleveland. We take the shot. We lead him more this time. We don't need many hits. Just some even overpins would get the kill. We get 2 pins and an overpin. So now we need to focus Nebraska. So even though we don't really have map control, this game's still going okay. We're about to pick off the Nebraska. But if we don't get into Bravo cap, there's going to be this big points difference that we're going to have to try to recover from. So we need to polish off these low health targets, which we've done between the Cleveland and the Nebraska, as we use our defensive A and shoot down all the planes of the Nebraska. So there's utilizing defensive AA. He's dead. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of even getting 1 bomb off on me, so he flew right into some flak clouds, which worked out very nice for us. Now the Richelieu is now focusing on us, so it was good that we turned and reversed back as I try to get my team to go flip A. In the meantime, we've lost one of our submarines to the Missouri from a fire. And I'm just going to keep spamming these torpedoes because they have a pretty short reload time. Even with the adrenaline rush kicked in. That's like something I didn't say earlier. 55-second reload time. But here, it's actually even much less. So I'm really concerned about getting caught out, detected here. And then I end up firing. But I had a Jetland to the rear, so I was like, screw it. I'll just go ahead and shoot. And we're going to angle away from the Richelieu, which I thought he was going a little bit forward, and I completely whiffed that salvo. So a bit unfortunate. One of the things I've been trying to be conscious of is try to, when possible, stay outside of the Johann Dewitt's HE airstrike range, but he's moved up to the island in Bravo, which means it's going to be a lot more difficult to be able to do. So we're still going to take the shot off on the destroyer and hope that was one of the risks I took going broadside like that, was showing too much side and then Richelieu potentially being able to clap us, but it worked out all right, and we were okay. So meantime, our team is starting to rotate around to pick up the D cap as they start picking up now with the Asasio and Doom in the Venom. Our Alaska overextends, and he's probably fired torpedoes even on me, so there's probably going to be torpedoes coming, which is why I backed off once the Jutland kind of revealed himself, and the Alaska is going to go down. So after the Alaska dies here, we're going to be pretty stressed for points. So there's going to be 815 points versus our 530 points. We've only lost 4 ships, they've lost 5, but we need to get on the caps and we need to get points. Now in the meantime, our Roma picks off the U-190 finally, so that's nice. I'm to keep dealing with him, since we're going to kind of maybe try to turn in here, maybe not take so much damage, and I'm going to keep spamming these 10-kilometer torpedoes. As Doom in the Venom and the Asasio push up, they're going to spot this Johann Dewitt for me. So I'm still not seeing him, and if he was actually around the island, I'd be seeing him right now. So I'm kind of contemplating. I have no heals left. We've taken 2.8 million potential damage now, and this is becoming a points game. And so I really want to retain the points for my team and not dying. So it's going to force me to play a little more passive than I would like to. Luckily for us, they pick up the submarine, the Salmon over here. And I'm going to use my engine boost. And here we're going to use armor piercing, just less than 9 kilometers away. How does this turn out? Yeah, nice 9K salvo. So I'm going to get another torpedo off here. And this is there's 2 ideas behind this. One is perhaps he just pushes up. The second is he knows the subset detected, the submarine detected the Asasio and Jutland or Venom pushing in. So if he detects them, he may push up to avoid their torpedoes, only to eat our torpedo. So it's a cross torp action is what we're doing here, and you'll see that a lot if you watch King of the Seas. You watch a lot of Unicum divs and stuff playing. is getting a cross torp off. So he takes a big hit there. He's getting his heel off, and he's going to scoot forward. So let's see if the nuclear warhead does anything. So we have 125,000 damage right now with the 2 kills. And he would take up to 139,000 damage. Almost over 14,000 damage roughly is what we did to the Johann de Witt. So that is fantastic. Now, I'm like, okay, how do I want to play this? The Missouri is pushing back to A. The Jutland was in Bravo. Those are the torps we just saw a minute ago fired upon us that we avoided with our fancy engine boost. And then I get detected, and I know it's going to probably be the Ognivoy. It could be the Jutland. There's a smoke there you see in B. So I know, okay, I don't want to push in case Jutland has his torpedoes back up. That would be dangerous. We have the Missouri who's going back in around into A. So we still need the points. We need to slow them down. And it's the best having this rear firing angles, which you're about to see. We want to be angled away, especially since I have no heels left again, right? So here's the Missouri. If we get our guns rotated, we can see if we can't take a shot here between these 2 islands. And we stay dark. Okay, so that's a good sign. I'm expecting Ognivoy's probably still somewhere around north in A, as we do get a fire set. And I do get detected. Here you can see me again playing with the torpedoes. And there's the Ognivoy. So he smells blood in the water. And when you have something like the Duncan or St. Vincent, British Battleship HE is, well, just watch. Yeah, that was 8.7k damage. Ooh, someone got the Missouri really good with some torpedoes from, I think, the Asasio. So you don't want to just go full on broadside like that. I really am tempted to shoot Missouri because I want to get him out, but I know it's probably more important if I pick off the destroyer. Now I have an IO with me who's helping out, which is nice, and then there's some shots behind the smoke screen, so it means Jutland's back there in A. So that's some really valuable, important information, as I've had to use my damage control party to put the 1 fire set on me. So the goal now is to disengage and not get set on fire, because we only have 12,700 health. So do we not get set on fire here, as Utilo is going really low? We're avoiding some incoming salvo, because it takes a longer shell travel time. But we do get set on fire, and I am going to take the shots off on the Ognivoy, and there's torpedoes, and we're able to avoid because we were kiting away. And you see destroyers, you just want to turn away, typically, if you don't have hydro. And we're still detected, and I'm hoping Missouri isn't paying attention. I'm outside of Jutland's firing range now, and I just got to hope that the fire goes out just in time. At this point, we've almost taken 3.5 million potential damage with only 3 heals. So this is getting close. Ooh, 90 hit points. So we're really close, and we've taken the lead with the 3 caps with 1:40 on the clock. So now the pressure is on the enemy team to respond. So the Jutland has to push in. He ran completely top side of the map. And then Missouri's still low, so if we're trying to stay within range of where he was, you know, if we can get a salvo off on him, we will. Maybe I'm thinking Jutland decides to be greedy and keep pushing forward, but he decides to stop there. Missouri got a heal off when he was super low, so he's healed back up to 15,000 plus. So between ourselves, the Iowa, and even the our friendly players in Bravo, maybe something will happen here. Maybe we can get a kill, but I mean, we're about to win on points, so it's not a big deal as long as you don't lose any ships, because it's a quite close situation. Having both the Asasio and the Venom alive is really locking those battleships down in that position where they just need to stay behind the island to avoid the torps. So it helps keeping them locked down, means that we're able to pull back the game. And it was rather close. So 155,000 damage, 31,000 experience, 1,500 free XP with the General Offensive Strike Team, Fireproof and Dreadnought with the 3 kills, 9 set on fires, and the 1 torpedo hit. Looking at the team score, our Sashio player is going to have a really fantastic game. He's going to have 2,300 base XP. So we gave him compliments, and we reported the subs because subs should be reported. And then as a division, we're going to get 2, 3, and 4. So very good. And again, you can see 3.4 million potential damage, almost 3.5, and we took 152,000 damage. And here you can see the damage without. We did most of it to the Iowa. And of course, in terms of percentage of overall health, we took a lot from the Ognovoy. So you got to be mindful with these British battleships to not just be like that with this HE, high explosive. It does a lot of damage to you. So tomorrow we're doing an upgrade and commander build video on the Duncan. So I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, as I do appreciate the support as we're getting closer to 1,400 subscribers as this video is up. And soon 1,500 subscribers, where we're going to have a community day, meaning I get to play, we're going to play operations on the NA server. We're going to division all up with you, the viewers, subscribers, and then also on the EU server. So if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing so we can make that happen for those who enjoy watching the channel. So until next time, take care.